Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Birney are taking a look at race number 8 at Laurel Park on Saturday. It is the City of Laurel Stakes. It is one of several stakes races on the card, and you can bet them all with the new DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, immediately receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the City of Laurel. We're traveling 7 furlongs, $100,000 is the purse. This race is for 3-year-olds. The number 5 Rugby Man, Matt, is your 2-to-1 morning line favorite, and I kind of like Rugby Man cutting back slightly in distance here as he makes his 3rd start of the form cycle for Graham Motion, but there's a part of me that wonders if Rugby Man has been a little bit overrated. There was a lot of buzz surrounding this horse going into the Easy Goer and the Dwyer, and he was 9-2 in the West Virginia Derby, and he just hasn't panned out. I like that Graham Motion has dropped him back in class in his last 2 races.
Agreed. To be honest, I've never really understood the hype behind this horse. I think he's a fine colt, but I don't think he's anything to write home about. He's never byred anything greater than 89. But I think you're looking at a perfect scenario here where his 2 victories have both come going 1 turn at a 1-turn mile. Now you're going to go slightly shorter, but I don't think he'll be incapable of getting the 7/8 distance. I think this is probably what ultimately he'll end up being. Again, at a short price, he doesn't really do anything for me. I respect him. He can win this race, but at 2-to-1, I don't want him.
Our second choice on the morning line is the number 7, Old Time Revival, coming off a win over Track and Trip. And I think what was most important about Old Time Revival's win last time out was that he showed somewhat of a new dimension. We know Old Time Revival from his really aggressive gambits in races like the Wood Memorial and the Gotham, and even in that race at Laurel 4 starts back, an allowance race where he was just unrateable on the lead. Last time out, he sat successfully, although it took him the entire stretch to run down a 50-to-1 shot.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at that and be a little bit concerned, but at the same time, the 3rd place finisher that day came back and has been a next out winner with a 90 buyer, and the 5th place finisher came back and earned an 86 in his next start. So I kind of look at it and say, if all of a sudden he has developed the ability to sit off of a horse and off of a couple horses, if that's the case, off of a target basically, and able to go and make up ground, that was against older horses also, I look at him and say he's the horse to beat, not Rugby Man.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, because they have the number 4 Spartacle out there on the lead. And Spartacle is capable of running a pretty fast race on occasion. An 88 buyer in his first start for this barn back in August, and last time out over a muddy track, an 89 buyer. He took some heat on the turn, but once this jock got into him, he went away, won by 5. I guess if he gets out to an easy lead here, he has a chance, but this is tough for company.
If you think he can shake clear, he's a big-time player, and he's interesting at 8-to-1. I don't think he's going to shake clear like the pace projector suggests. I think they're going to be throwing it down relatively. I don't want to say it's going to be just a blistering pace, but I think it'll be honest, and I think it might end up taking its toll on a horse like Spartacle on the front end.
The number 6, Smooth B. Let's throw out his most recent race, the Grade 3 Gallant Bob, featuring a real good one in Grade 1 winner Firenze Fire, and a horse that he finished ahead of Smooth B that day came back to earn an 81 buyer speed figure when winning an $80,000 claim at Belmont. Draw a line through that race and you're left with a real honest horse winning a 7 furlong event at Parks with an 87 buyer. His dirt sprints are good, and I think he has the right running style.
Yeah, they're respectable. I don't view him as a major player in a race like this. I think he could certainly run underneath and spice up your exotics if you were so inclined. But that run 2 starts back, as good as it was, I have to throw out that little kind of caveat that it was over a sloppy sealed track. Now, look, if you end up getting that, and by the way, he's 2 for 3 over a wet surface, you certainly can move his chances up, and I think he does play in that spot. But if it's over a fast main strip, I think he's probably looking at a minor reward at best.
First time dirt for the number 8 Majestic Dunhill. This is a son of Majestic Perfection. The dam has thrown a dirt winner, and the second dam here was a stakes winning dirt sprinter, so there is a little bit of pedigree, and this horse has been keeping good company in turf sprints. Last out at Kentucky Downs going 6.5, he was really wide when they swung into the straight, and he was only beaten a neck. I thought that was a decent enough performance, but the big question is the surface.
Yeah, and to me it feels a little bit peculiar when you get to this point in a horse's career where he's been fine on the turf. He hasn't really done too much wrong. He's not a world beater, but he's fine. all of a sudden we're going to try to find out if he can run on the main track. I look at it most of the time with these types and say if they didn't start him on the dirt, there's probably a reason. I don't love his chances.
Golden Brown, another one going turf to dirt, and boy, he's kept some tough competition. He's dropping out of 4 graded stakes races. His most recent start on the dirt came in the prestigious Haskell Invitational, but his dirt start before that was sprinting back at Monmouth, and he came through against New Jersey breds. If this pace heats up, I wonder if Golden Brown's class can propel him to at least an on-the-board finish.
I think he might be able to get a piece. I personally think he's significantly better on the grass than on the dirt, and I think he's just been keeping very, very tough company recently. I would imagine at some point you'll get back to the turf with him. I don't blame them for taking a shot here. I just think he's much, much better on the grass.
Long shot cord maker, the number 9, 20-1 on the morning line. Yet another going from turf to dirt. Liked his performance, though, 2 starts back, but it was way back in April, his first start of this year. He beat a couple of next out winners, one who came back to win 2 in a row with an 85 and an 82. But we have not seen this guy since May, and I wonder if this is just a starting off point.
Long layoff, and if you think he comes back, and even if he's ready to go, he's going to need to improve his game significantly in order to be any kind of a threat in this race.
Shane's Jewel seems like a little bit of an in-and-outer. I thought he got a nice, easy lead last time out at Delaware over a wet fast track, and you look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, they don't have him among the top 3 horses in this race, but I think he's tactical, and he goes out for a real good trainer in Jamie Ness.
Yeah, you got to respect anything Ness throws out there. At the same time, he's run 12 times, a career best fig of 79. That's not nearly good enough to threaten for the win, maybe a minor award, but that even still seems like a bit of a long shot.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the City of Laurel Stakes on Saturday. It's carded as race number 8. You really liked Old Time Revival's new stalking gear, and he is capable of running fast races. He is capable of running good races against good horses. He has faced arguably better in his career, and just a good trip probably coming from the outside.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if he's not the favorite, I think it'll be stealing, because
yeah.
I think he deserves to be the favorite in here. I think he's the most talented horse. He's run the best races against the best company. If you get the 5-2 on him as opposed to 2-1 on Rugby Man, I think you got to run to the window and take it.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2 oldies but goodies. This is a horse who was kind of just okay, and then they ran him on the turf 2 starts back, and he exploded with a 91 Beyer speed figure out of nowhere, and I guess you could very easily question that fig. And then last time out at Laurel, it was a race washed off of the turf, and he came back with a comparable fig, an 86 Beyer, and he just blew that field out. Maybe not the strongest competition of the world, but he sure looked good doing it, and ridden out fashion, winning by 7 with an 86. Now, I wish he was drawn more towards the outside, because it appears there's some other speed, and I know Shane's Jewel beat him on the square a couple of starts back, but I just wonder if this horse has just woken up and figured it out as a late developing 3-year-old.
It's possible, because like you say, each of the past 2, you can't really knock anything about him. I understand that most recent one was supposed to be on the grass, but he's looked good in both of those races, and it's also nice to know that he doesn't have to have the lead. You're right, he is going to be forwardly placed. I'd imagine he's going to be mixing it up a little bit, but he's not kind of dependent on being out on the front. He can sit off of a target if that's the case. It's one of those instances to me, 6-1 still to me seems a little bit on the light side. I think he should be in that 8 or 10-1 range. If you get to that point, which I don't think is out of the question, you get into that flirting with double-digit range. I think that's a very, very interesting play. 5-6-1 seems a little bit light for a horse that I hate to say it, I just want to see it one more time before I fully buy in.
No, I agree with you 100%. I wonder if Smooth B and Golden Brown take some money off their 12-1 and 15-1 morning lines, respectively, based on the company they've been facing, while oldies but goodies might drift a little bit if that happens. Give me your top 4.
7-5-1-4.
I'm going 2-4-7-5 in the $100,000 City of Laurel Stakes. It's race number 8 at Laurel. It's a really fun card. Play it with your new DRF Bets account and the 300% deposit match that goes along with it. Easy sign up at bets.drf.com. An approximate post time for the City of Laurel, 3:30 Eastern. Good luck.